Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Let's get it. Let's talk some football. Week 3 NFL, my best bets as we run the board. All right, I'll give you guys kind of where I'm at within each of these games, as well as share with you guys kind of my stronger plays. And then, as always, I'll put my 3 to 5 play card over on the Discord, and I'll post that for you guys here a little bit shortly after posting this video. So if you haven't hopped on over to the Discord, make sure you guys do so. Totally free platform there, as well as on X. Make sure you guys all follow me there. It's a really great community we're building. I'm just trying to grow that as well as here on YouTube. So make sure you're subscribed on all platforms, okay? So that's what we have going on. Let's get down into it. We had a great day in baseball yesterday, and the college football world was kind of hit or miss, right? But we're here to talk NFL. Let's get into it. Let's go, and let's get into the odds jam, okay? So this is where we're going to look at the games, and I'm going to break it down for you guys one by one. And this is where we look into the first game on the card, where we talk about the New York Giants and the Cleveland Browns. And full disclosure, I am a Cleveland fan. I don't like laying it with Cleveland, but this is where we're going to lay 6 points, okay? There's something within this game that you have to understand. Daniel Jones, without having a stud rookie receiver, he's kind of there on an island after losing Saquon Barkley. And I never thought I'd be back in Deshaun Watson in this spot, but this is a horrible matchup for the Giants. I think Cleveland blows away the Giants in this spot. I think Deshaun Watson has showed strides in his last outing against Jacksonville until the rain hit. And I think that Cleveland defense at home is enough to vault us into a victory. I also lean towards the under. This is something where you have to look at the Giants on the road as an underdog, okay? And just as an underdog as well, they hit the under a lot. 12 out of 17 games. It's tough taking and laying the points. It's tough laying the points when you do have a a low total and a big spread. It's almost a touchdown here for the Browns, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to take the under. It's a 12 out of 17 cash rate, so that is a lean towards the under, but I do like Cleveland -6 in this game, okay? And something interesting to note, if you guys play props fantasy, Ford is kind of out as the main guy. It's Donta Foreman that will be the bell cow there for the Cleveland rushing attack under Stefanski. They like to run the football, so look for that into your fantasy leagues, as well as what we have going on in the world of DFS and prop betting. Okay, so next game is the Bears and the Colts. This is a get-right game for the Colts. They have to win this game. I don't really like it. It's a pick 'em, and if you're going to make me bet this game, I would lean towards Colts. -1 at home at Lucas Oil. Jonathan Taylor anytime touchdown. Bears defense looks legit. I just don't trust Caleb Williams. Never did, never have. Didn't think he was the #1 pick. Didn't like him at USC, and didn't like him last week against Houston. So if I had to bet this game, I would fade him once again and take the Colts here at home. All right. Now, the next game on the card is going to be Minnesota and Houston. We're going to talk about that one. That is -118. It's another pick 'em out there. Sam Darnold for the Minnesota Vikings, that's been lending towards kind of being profitable. Okay, you see the upset they pulled against San Francisco. They're tattered, but this is something where this is another game where we lean towards the under. Okay, so Houston Texans, this is what you have to understand. In their last 8 games as a favorite, and I know it's a slight favorite, they've cashed at an 87.5% rate. So this is Texans money line for me. I think this number should be bigger. I don't agree with it. I think just because on the road you do get a lower value. So for me, it would be Texans money line and a lean towards the under. But I do think there's a chance that we do get a different type of Houston Texans offense, right? We pride ourselves with C.J. Stroud throwing the football to that arsenal of receivers. But I think against the Vikings here, they're going to look to take Justin Jefferson out of the game, get to the quarterback, and I think we see a more inside the tackles kind of game where we run the football a lot. And that's also where you look at Joe Mixon being on the mend. I think he's questionable or doubtful for this game. So definitely lending more towards the under. I think that's where we're going to get, a kind of grinded out, more of a phone booth game in this matchup, okay? And then the next game is one that everybody's going to have eyes on in the NFC. This is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles and the New Orleans Saints. We look at this game, and you can see the Eagles, they are 1-8 against the spread in their last 9 games. This is something where after that kind of devastating loss that they had against the Atlanta Falcons, Saquon Barkley catches that ball. This is a whole different story, okay? I think the Saints are getting a lot of steam. People are starting to become, familiarized with them. They're starting to get trendy. And yes, Alvin Kamara, he's shooting up that list for MVP for the league if he can stay healthy. One of my great fantasy plays within him, drafting him in pretty much all of my leagues at a really great round value. But this is where I'm going to take Philly in a bounce back spot. I can't trust Sirianni, I just, his coaching decisions are very questionable down the stretch. It's kind of cost him a Super Bowl at times. But this is something where we look at Philadelphia +3 on the road. I know they're at minus A.J. Brown. But this is going to be right back to the basics, and I actually kind of lean towards the under in this as well. But we might have an old-fashioned shootout. I think Philly's going to try to run the ball a lot. So a big game for Saquon. The Saints defense at home in a dome. Jalen Hurts, will see what he's made of. He has to go on a road and win the NFC matchup that we have. This is something where you look at New Orleans and what they're able to do. Philadelphia is bottom 10 in defense, right? For what they've been. Vic Fangio hasn't really adapted his system into Philadelphia, and this is where you could lend towards the numbers and trust the over 48.5. That's the best number we can find. That's where the New Orleans Saints have hit the over in 4 of their last 5 games against bottom 10 scoring defenses. So I would lend towards Philadelphia +3 and the over in this spot. Okay. Next bet out there will be one we will have a play in. We have Los Angeles Chargers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is one where Justin Herbert is banged up. They're playing in Pittsburgh. West goes east. This is going to be a phone booth game as well. A lot of unders today. This is a card where the numbers, there's not too many high totals. And this is another one where we do get Justin Fields leading that Pittsburgh Steelers, looking to go 3-0 at home. I like the Steelers right here in the spot, -2.5. We're going to take them. I think the Chargers are going to really count on J.K. Dobbins to get that rushing game in attack against a vaulted Pittsburgh Steelers defense, where I'm not sure he's going to have much room to run. Okay, but this is something where I do lend towards the Steelers -2.5. I think that's where we're going to be having our best bet. The Chargers and Justin Herbert. That injury really does concern me. So him and the likes of Joshua Palmer, I just don't think it's enough. Going against that Pittsburgh defense, it's going to be a low-scoring game as well. They're going to really run some time of possession, running the football both sides of the ball, or both sides of the game, where we have the Chargers and Steelers looking to run the football effectively. So lean towards the under 35.5 as well as the Pittsburgh Steelers -2.5. That will be one of my best bets. Okay, Denver and Tampa. Now this is a trendy dog, right? Denver Broncos are +7 at times, and that number has been down to 6 at its lowest point. Tampa Bay has been clicking, okay? But there's a lot of people on Denver, and I just don't like it. So this would be a fade, a trendy dog spot for me. I would take the Buccaneers -6 if you can find it. But for me, this is where I just think it's too popular of an underdog play here. We're taking the Denver Broncos on the road. So I would lend towards Tampa Bay -6, laying it at home, okay? Next game, Green Bay and Tennessee. This is a very interesting one. We don't have the injury concern. Game time decision within Jordan Love. And the Packers, 3.5-point underdogs going on the road to play Tennessee. This is something where, it's hard not to take the Packers +3.5. I don't quite frankly trust the Titans. What they have, coming back within Malik Willis, that's going to be a big storyline. But for me, this is Packers +3.5. That's where I would play this game. A low total, once again, 37 points, okay? Now, something interesting to note about this game, if you guys want to know a little bit of a betting nugget on this, this is something where we look at the Packers, and there is really nothing crazy to talk about except for the fact that we look at kind of Tennessee in this spot. It's kind of weird seeing Malik Willis favored against his, going against his, starting against his old team. This is something where if he does get the start, I think we're going to have Will Levis and Malik Willis. And I just, that's a stay away game for me. I took Green Bay plus the points with Malik Willis once before. Not willing to do it again. So for me, this is a stay away game, but I would lean Green Bay +3.5. Okay. Next one is Carolina in Vegas. Okay. This is an interesting one because we know the storyline with Bryce Young out of the game. And now in this one, in this spot, we do get Gardner Minshew. And for those of you that do not know, Gardner Minshew is the only quarterback in the NFL to throw for 250 yards in both games. All right. So I think the Raiders score points in this one. I think this number's wrong. And I do like Andy Dalton a little bit more because if you look at the deeper numbers within the Panthers, offensively, they've been there. Okay. And this is just something where it's kind of Bryce Young just not making the reads, not making the throws. And I think we're going to get points in this one. I like the props in this game. And I think that this number is way too low based on just kind of stereotyping, Andy Dalton being at the helm. So we're going to go over in this one. This is one of my favorite bets. We'll take the over 39.5 in this spot. Okay. Now, Miami, Seattle, that's the next game we're going to talk about, 4:05. This will start kind of the discussion about Tua leaving that ball club. And Seattle, I don't think the line move is warranted. Seattle's -4. They've struggled against a lot of teams, okay? They've struggled, barely beating the Patriots. And then we saw what the Seattle Seahawks were able to do in that spot where, they're reeling. I do think they have the better team. And for me, in this one, you have to understand something. The Seattle Seahawks have hit the under in 5 of their last 7 games. Miami's defense is not the best, but I do think Seattle kind of lends to that narrative as well. So this number, I think, in my opinion, is way too low, 40.5. I think Miami still has the weapons. And you look at Miami, they're 4-1 in their last 5 against bottom 10 scoring defenses. So I would favor Miami plus 4.5 in this game, albeit Tua will not make the start, obviously. Okay, next game is Detroit and Arizona. This is a marquee game as well. We look at this matchup, and we talk about the Cardinals and the success they've had. James Conner, Marvin Harrison, Kyler Murray, comeback player of the year storyline. All that's there and present. But the Lions, I think that minus 2.5, you can find them. That's kind of a better number. They're going to be clicking. I think this is one where we see the highest total on the board, 51.5. For me, guys, this is a play where if I did have to play it, I would lay it with the Lions on the road. That's just kind of where I'm at. Jared Goff hasn't been Jared Goff of last year. The Lions were a little bit stock up coming into the season. And in this spot, I think that the Detroit Lions roll 12-5 in their last 17 games as a favorite. So give me the Lions minus 2.5. That would be my lean in this contest. Okay, and then we have a couple other games before we get to the prime time. The first one being probably the game of the day, Baltimore Ravens and the Dallas Cowboys. This is one where we're going to take the Ravens in the spot. There's a glaring statistical kind of trend that I would go into that would kind of lend me towards taking the Ravens. You have to kind of understand this. And it kind of goes against the grain because the over has hit in 6 of the last 8 games for the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys are 5-0 against the spread in their last 5. The Baltimore Ravens are a bottom 10 scoring defense. But the biggest thing here is the Baltimore Ravens are 10-3 in their last 13 games as a favorite. And then we can talk about it even more. And this is probably the best number I can give you guys. And I'll pull it up here because I did write this down. This is where we look at Baltimore and why I'm on them. Well, here it is, guys. This is basically the glaring anomaly that led me to bet the Baltimore Ravens. Probably one of my favorite plays of the day. This is where we get Baltimore -1. You have to look at the fact that, excuse me, this is where Lamar Jackson, okay, and this is the number one kind of thing that led me to bet the Baltimore Ravens in this game where they have to get a win, right? 0-2 on the season. He's 20-1 straight up against NFC teams, okay? So that's where I look for the Baltimore Ravens to roll. Baltimore on the money line, -110. That will be one of my favorite plays of the day. And then the last game on the card before we get to the primetime games will be the 49ers and the Rams. This game had all marquee potential, primetime potential, but we do get Christian McCaffrey out. We do get Deebo Samuel out. Now it looks like George Kittle's out. And we do have more injury concerns on the offensive line for the San Francisco 49ers. After losing to the Minnesota Vikings, the 49ers go on the road, laying 6 points to the Los Angeles Rams, minus Cooper Kupp, minus Puka Nacua. This is one where we're going to see a lot of running. I think we're going to get a lot of run game inside the tackles. You're going to see a lot of Mason. You're going to see a lot of Kyron Williams. And I think this is where if you look in those prop markets, you're going to see a lot of value with that. This total has reflected the injuries. 43.5 on the total, and we do get the Rams getting 6.5 at home. It's hard not to take that, but I do think that the 49ers find a way to win this game off a bounce back. So if I had to bet this game, I would lean towards 49ers laying the 6 as well as the under 43.5, 44 if you can find it. That would be how I would approach this game. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm at. The other game worth noting, and it's in the prime time. We will have 2 games on Monday night and 1 game on Sunday. I do have plays in those, but we're not going to do the breakdown and analysis because I do a separate video for primetime games. So make sure you all subscribe and turn on that notification bell. That way you get all of the updates when I do post a video. But I will show you guys kind of my plays in those games so you get them early. And then make sure you watch the video where I break down my exact plays for those contests. And here's where you're going to see it, guys. This is where we'll be on Cleveland -6, Pittsburgh -2.5. We will have the Carolina Vegas over 39.5, as well as we're going to be taking Philadelphia +3, Baltimore money line, and then the Rams. I'm leaning under in that matchup, but then I do have my 2 primetime games that I will be talking about more in depth later on the channel. So appreciate you guys watching. If you guys do end up following me here on YouTube, make sure you give me a follow on the Discord. I will post my actual plays over there, as well as kind of what we're doing here on the channel from time to time. Also, if you want to become a channel member, make sure you do so below. Link down below if you want to give back. That's something where we don't charge for picks. But if you want to become a channel member today, link down below for that. But I appreciate you guys watching. Good luck with your picks, and we'll see you guys later for the primetime video breakdowns. Cheers.